Good morning and welcome to the Talk of the Town. My name is Sonali Vanigabaduge. I'm joined by Professor Arjuna Parakrama, Emeritus Professor, University of Peradeniya. Good morning and welcome, Professor.
Good morning. Thank you.
Professor, undereducation has become a massive issue in Sri Lanka, initially spurred on by the school closures during COVID-19, exacerbated by the economic crisis. We see children now underprepared to take on real-world challenges. There is a learning deficit, there are disparities in free education, and people are effectively being left behind. What do we do about this dumbing down of children and the education system?
I think we have to advocate for clear policy directions that change this. You are quite right. A recent study showed that 92% of students were hopelessly underprepared in terms of basic numeracy and literacy, even at grade 3. We have, as you know, a number of students who are excluded at all levels, from primary, secondary, all the way up to higher education as a result of the closure of schools and universities. One lesson that we learned is schools should never be closed, not under any circumstances. I mean, other than in a natural disaster or something like that. So I think the onus is on us, academics, intellectuals, concerned citizens, the media, to make sure that the government is not turning education into an investment and following the neoliberal policy of market-oriented instrumental education as opposed to the education for values and for principles. We need to teach our students to be critical thinkers, to be creative, to communicate well, and to have the confidence that we need. And part of that, as we discussed, is the question of the need to prepare them for this society, which includes gender and sex education, which includes inclusive education, where they understand to live in a multilingual, multicultural, and plural society. Now, all these things are missing at the moment. There's a mad rush. It's exams-oriented education where we're trying to make up for the closure by exerting pressure on the students and then conveying the entire message of education to tuition classes, which is about exams and competitiveness. And if we understand that a good 60% of the students who enter at year 1 get dropped along the way. So it's only about 1/6 or something, or 1/5 or something of the students who actually make it to some kind of higher education, whether it's private or public. So I think there's a catastrophe there. We have an undereducated population. We have education that is narrowly instrumental, market-oriented, that is not about values. And we have lost our respect and regard for teachers and teaching and the entire system, which we need to get back. That values we need. If we don't have those values, we are going to, I think, fail as a nation.
It is increasingly and disproportionately the disadvantaged children who are affected and negatively impacted by these exclusionary policies of government. Through our collective silence, would we be acting complicitly to ensure that the next generation will have the coconut pluckers, the mason bosses, the three-wheeler drivers, the security guards, so that those are the jobs that those kids are left with? Whilst kids who are from the middle classes or the upper middle classes or the elite get all the good jobs and the fancy lifestyles.
Absolutely. I think it is a way of reducing the competition. So therefore, our silence is complicity, and actually not only complicity, that we are actually contributing to the discrimination, the devaluing of children and young people. So I think we need to work hard at restoring the sort of diminishing range of free education and making options available in this crisis, because it is finally education and the proper kind of holistic value-based education that would help to ameliorate both the economic and the political crisis in this country. So you're quite right. Our standing by or pretending that we are powerless or being apathetic while we actually benefit from it, that is the problem. Our children benefit from this inequality and this exclusion. So we need to really rethink our role here, because there are only two sides in this. There are those who are for the discrimination and the exclusion, and those who are against it. We have to decide which side we're on.
And finally, Professor, we've seen our fair share of rebel-rousing, myth-making religious leaders across religions, causing disharmony, causing division and disunity among Sri Lankans. And for the most part, they've not been held accountable. How important is it for our education systems to be devoid of divisive religious rhetoric.
Yeah, I think that's crucial, that's fundamental. That education is a secular function. There is no place for religion's dominance or religion dictating anything. That's for a different space. The parents and the children and the students can go to whatever religious instruction they want subsequently, but religion should not interfere. Religious institutions should not flex their muscles and bully the others, which is what is happening. We have a bullying through mainly the majority religion, but most of the other religions as well, all of them in fact, in trying to dictate what students learn, what is taught and understood in the school, which is quite wrong. They must have the freedom to choose. These are young minds, and I think forcing religion down their throat will only exacerbate the problems that would happen. So this discriminatory, divisive, as you say, and plainly hegemonistic practice of religious indoctrination or religious bullying needs to stop. The government should have the courage to say whether you are the best religion, the biggest religion, the strongest religion, the majority religion, your space is elsewhere, not in the school, not in the classroom, not in the university. That is somewhere in public life that you can do that, where people can choose to be part of it or not. In education, they can't choose. They're forcing it down the throats of our children.
Thank you, Professor, for your perspectives and for your service. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and it's back to the studio.